One night, Carmen and her father Don Julian had a conversation about why Alfredo, her brother, and Esperanza are still yet to marry after many years of being promised. Before, Alfredo was very enthusiastic in pursuing Esperanza, giving gifts, flowers, letters, and serenades. Consequently, it confused her why the couple was stalling their marriage. Alfredo heard the conversation, leading him to drown in his thoughts, wondering what happened in his life, and it seemed like love had missed him. He reminisced about his boyhood when he was full of energy and was eager to be with Esperanza. Lost in his thoughts, he thought of greed, the desire to have everything at once, and the very reason why his life is ruined. He then went out of the house and followed the path to the gate, where a gravel road leads to the Martinez house occupied by Judge Del Valle and his family. 6 weeks ago, he and his father Don Julian visited their neighbor when a young woman met them at the door. He thought that she was the judge's sister and called her Miss Del Valle throughout the visit. Consequently, the judge cleared up that she wasn't his sister but his sister-in-law named Julia Salas. He felt embarrassed and explained himself, but she told him that it was nothing as she shared her own experience with calling the wrong name. This is when he started talking to Julia on the porch while the judge and his father were playing chess. Since that night, Alfredo and his father would visit on Sunday mornings after going to church. This went on for several Sundays when one Sunday, Esperanza asked if Alfredo went straight home after the Mass since he hadn't been waiting for her to come out of the church for a while now. He felt a sense of guilt creep into his body as he forgot his duties because of his excitement on seeing Julia. He told her that he went to work, but later added that he and his father visit the judge sometimes. Esperanza is an impassive and traditional woman, so she did not have suspicions because she believed that if a man is engaged, it can't be possible for him to love another. After his half-lie, Alfredo realized that he was giving Julia something he shouldn't, his love. However, he still professed his feelings to Julia. For him, the time he spent with her was swift, so he lived each moment intensely with no thoughts about his future or past, only the present. One Sunday afternoon, Don Julian brought his neighbors in his plantation and a house on a beach, along with Carmen and her kids. However, Julia was the one watching the kids while walking at the beach. Alfredo ran from the porch to catch up with Julia. He asked if Julia is having a nice time, which she answered that she did because it looked like her home. She proceeded to tell him that it might be the last time they might visit because he would be busy. He told her he would like to see her hometown, which she replied that he could find her house at Calle Luz. He then asked why she said this would be her last visit, and she told him that tomorrow she will be going home. Alfredo held Julia's hand to say his goodbye, then Don Julian called them back. During the Holy Thursday, Alfredo was strolling around the church when he saw Esperanza and her mother in a procession. Esperanza stiffened and acted unaware, but Alfredo's heart began acting violently as he glanced at the other woman coming down the line of the procession. Julia's glance fell on him as the line moved, and when the procession was over, he looked around the Chinese stores to find her. He knew that Esperanza was waiting for him, but he joined Julia nevertheless. He asked why Julia did not go to her hometown, and she answered that her sister, the judge's wife, asked her to stay until they were all ready to go. She proceeded to congratulate him on his approaching wedding and told him that she should have done it earlier but didn't know of it as a mere visitor. He noticed that she spoke in a detached and formal manner. Alfredo proceeded to tell her that it would happen in May when she asked the date after he asked her if she would come. She said she would if Alfredo would ask her to go, which he did. He walked her home with pain in his heart as he wished that things were different and the woman beside him was his wife. She quickly cut off the conversation and walked away as fast as they arrived at the Martinez house. He went back home, and there was the efficient, literal minded, and always elegant Esperanza sitting on the sofa. The woman was stressing about their note carrier Calixta and her indignant relationship. The listening Alfredo drawled, "Well, what of it?" He wanted to make her see beyond her orthodox mind that Calixta is not entirely evil for what she did, but she said that the girl was selfish for living with a man without marriage. She also expressed that she didn't expect the girl to turn out bad after being raised by her mother. On the other hand, Alfredo tells her that what Calixta did was wrong, but not as extremely wicked as she makes it to be. Esperanza was disappointed with his ideas. She told him that he talked like an immoral man, and they broke up into a resentful argument. He argued with so much passion that he stopped, appalled with his own conviction. Esperanza asked him why is he so angry, and told him that she knew the reason he was indifferent lately. She said that people may have kept it from her, but she is not blind or deaf, and she urged Alfredo to speak out. Moreover, she stated with repressed anger that he might have seen a lot of shortcomings from her, but she never went out of her way to find the men. Esperanza burst out weeping, which made him feel shamed. 8 years later, Alfredo had a trip to find Brigida Samuy, an elusive woman that is important to the defense of the case he was handling. It led him to the hometown of Julia Salas. He was disturbed by the fact, but he had made peace with the storms and had long accepted that he could not forget Julia. Nevertheless, he had tried to be content and not remember too much. He was not unhappy with his marriage and felt no rebellion against it, only calm after he decided to order his life with no struggles and raging emotions. He detached himself from others, and Esperanza, his wife, feels helpless because he feels far away from her reach, even though he is gentle and tender. When the lights on the shore opened, a policeman informed him that the Presidente went to find Brigida Samui in the hills after reading his letter. He slept on the boat because it would leave at 4 a.m. the next day, but at 8 o'clock in the evening, he decided to walk around the town because he had nothing to do. His heartbeat grew stronger as he left the boat and went to the shore. He noted how peaceful the town was, and the quietness made him feel a bit of sadness inside as he thought of Julia and how life would have been if he married her. He went on and asked around, leading him to a street called Calle Luz. He knew it would be easy to find her house because she would be sitting at the window, and she was. Julia was surprised when she saw him and asked him to come inside after exchanging greetings. Julia Salas did not change much throughout the years, yet he felt like something was gone. They conversed, and he could not take his eyes away from her face, wanting to know what was lost. He looked at her with curiosity, which made her blush, and when they were parting, he pressed her hand to know what was missing, but he felt undisturbed and emotionless. He was hardly interested if she still cared and realized that it was all over. He asked himself, why had he clung to the dream of being with Julia? He realized that all this time, he was still seeing the light of dead stars, long extinguished, yet seemingly still in their appointed place in the sky. I enjoyed retelling the short story Dead Stars by Paz Marquez Benitez because it is one of my favorite short stories and also because I am proud that it came from a Filipina woman. Also, I enjoyed the thrill in making it concise considering that the short story was quite long. One of the biggest challenges that I have faced while retelling the story is making it concise and cohesive without altering the original story or decreasing the message of each event. Also, another one is making the flow of the events run smoothly because I removed big details. I only chose the most important ones to make it shorter because it was quite long for a short story. And when I chose the most important details, I had to make sure that it connected with each other to make sure that the events make sense. I think the module had every information needed for the lessons and the topics, but as a bonus, it would be better if it had deeper meanings, deeper explanations, and more examples for those who want to use the Module 8 for self-learning. Again, my name is Jermella Lei Pulanco from BSP1E. Thank you.